What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the MMA News Center. I am Daniel, and these are the MMA headlines.
All right, first up, we have Luke Rockhold, quote unquote. Brock Lesnar represents everything that's wrong with MMA. MMA Junkie reports. If we scroll down, we can see that Luke Rockhold has had some great remarks, to be honest, when it comes to the DC and Brock Lesnar situation. So we have a quote of from Luke Rockhold, which says Brock was coming in hot and pushing DC, but DC kept his composure and was laughing it off. Added Rockhold, who's planning to bulk up to light heavyweight for his next fight. I'm not a big fan of Brock and his style, so I wouldn't mind taking a leg home. What he's talking about is basically, that if we see on the next quote, he straight up says, Brock Lesnar cheats. So he explained his reaction to Lesnar's presence, that he was exempt from testing so he could cheat, and the fact that the UFC bring him back after that positive test and treat him like a king, that's everything that's wrong with the sport. I have to say Luke Rockhold is definitely correct on this one. There's a lot of people in line waiting to fight for the heavyweight title, and this guy Brock Lesnar that comes 0-2 in the last two fights, we all know he's on steroids, and now he's challenging for the title. That's kind of upsetting for some people, but we understand why the UFC is doing it. They're doing it because of the money. They have a big loan to pay back. We all know that. So, at this point, I have nothing else to say than, we're going to have to just look the other way at this point. I mean, it's still an interesting fight, but, it's not the people that should be contesting for the title at this point. There's people that deserve it way more than him. But we have a final quote from Luke Rockhold, which says, "We'll see if it happens or not, but DC wins the fight fairly easy," Rockhold said. Brock runs forward, tries to double leg him, and DC stuffs it, gets back up. Whether he gets taken down or not, and he starts to throw hands on him, and he probably falls the same way as Stipe. So, Luke Rockhold is clearly making a prediction out of, in my opinion, definitely not an ignorant opinion at this point, because he has trained with Daniel Cormier, and we've all seen that everything that Daniel Cormier is capable of. And the only guy he's ever lost to is John Jones. Outside of him, his record is impeccable. So at this point, we just have to see the fight. It's going to be a great fight, but we all know why this fight is. Next up, we have Conor McGregor on the verge of striking a plea deal in New York incident case. If we see BJPen.com reports, according to TMZ reports, the final stages have been reached in the negotiation of a plea deal for his felony mischief case. Prosecutors are agreeing to drop the felony to a misdemeanor. This is a very big deal for the Irishman, as felony regarding violence could result in deportation from the U.S. permanently. The plea deal has yet to reach the finalization, but the negotiations are reportedly in the fine point stages. Assuming nothing crazy happens and this falls through, the deal is expected to be finished and made final in the coming days, as McGregor is due in Manhattan court on Thursday. Now, we all know that the biggest fight that the UFC can make right now would be Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Honestly, it's a fight that I am dying to see. I wanted to see the fight between him and Tony Ferguson, if I'm honest with you. But since we can't have that right now, Conor McGregor versus Khabib is going to be the biggest fight in history. And who knows, whoever the winner of that is, maybe Tony gets a crack for them and another big bomb is going to happen, because these guys are just amazing. And last story of the day, we have Colby Covington still expects to unify titles versus Tyron Woodley despite needing recovery time. BJPen.com reports. We all have heard the news that the UFC was quote unquote thinking about taking away the belt from Colby, although he just won it a month ago, which is absolutely ridiculous. However, would not be the first time that they do this. They did this also to Tony Ferguson, just for being injured. So, I would not be surprised if this was the case and that's what was happening. However, it's definitely not the right thing to do for the UFC. Absolutely not. And we have a quote from Colby Covington saying, "We're looking at doing the Woodley fight in November, December. I need a little time off. I need to do a little time, a little recovering. I'm only human. Man, I gotta get a little vacation. I just can't keep running my body through the ground, going through training camps. You have to be strategic, and November, December works for me. I had a little health issues after my fight, so I'm getting those taken care of, and by the year's end, we'll unify my belt and retire Tyron Woodley for good." So we have Colby Covington. He just won the belt, the interim welterweight champion belt, literally like no more than a month and a week ago or so. And now the UFC is trying to strip him just because he's injured. We had exactly the same case with Tony Ferguson. And just because he got injured, now they strip him.